Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, to Kindred Spirits podcast on the RFK Refugees Podcast Network. I am your host, John, and with me is, instead of Ted, I have usually silent producer Brian. Brian, say hello.
Hello.
Brian, how was your weekend, my friend?
It was pretty good. Started off a little rocky, which we'll talk about, a little bit of ups and downs. But ended strong. A lot of time in the sun. Enjoyed the brief respite from 115 heat index.
Yeah.
But now we're right back at it. So how about you, John?
Yeah, no, I can't complain. Friday night was weird. We'll like you said, we'll get into it. Certainly a kind of a wacky game down in North Carolina. But we both got to watch a pretty exciting DC United game on Sunday, so that kind of cleared out the vibes, made us feel a lot more positive about how our weekend went. But enough of that. Let's talk about what you were listening to this show to hear about. So, Washington Spirit played to a 3-3 draw against North Carolina Courage. That's right, another game without a win. But this time they lost the lead 3 times. So that's something we haven't done in a while. Usually that's not what we do. We usually only lose the lead once, but yes. kind of a wild game. So from a lineup perspective, it was a game in which we got all of our national team players back, bar Emily Sonnett, who was injured. So familiar lineup of Aubrey Bledsoe in goal, Kelly O'Hara, Sam Staub, Amber Brooks, Trinity Rodman, Anna Helferty, Doreen Bailey, Andy Sullivan, Jordan, who they still have as DiBiase on FootMob, Baggett. Ashley Sanchez and Tara McKeown in the lineup. That is as close to a first choice lineup as you're going to get. I would say, aside from Brooks, who by the way had a pretty decent game. Mm-hmm. That's it. That's what you're gonna roll with. I made the comment last week on the show, or 2 weeks ago. I don't remember the last time we had a show. It was basically like, yes, we're excited to get the players back. We should also remember that we had the players in the first half of the season, and while the games were coming fast and close between, they just weren't getting any wins anyway. So they were just getting draws all over the place, games that they should have won before they were really too tired with all these players. So it's just misfiring from the start. But as you see that lineup, you say, this is a chance. This is our best chance for the win in quite some time. North Carolina is below us on the table due to 4 games in hand, which is hilarious at this point in the season. Washington Spirit only on 11 points. It's just rough.
It feels real bad.
It's rough. It feels real bad, man. Particularly after last season. I interviewed Julia Rotter today, and we'll get that out for our Patreons early, probably on Wednesday. So that if you want to hear that early, patreon.com/RFK Refugees. But we kind of remarked that this season is like the photo negative of last season, as far as things going your way and things not going your way. So the game. Let's get right into the game.
Let's get to it.
So the Spirit, I would say, were definitely had the game relatively in hand from the start. They were not really pressured very much. The North Carolina continues to. They've done pretty well against the Spirit this year, better than they had in the past. Ordonez is not the player that I'm thinking of. I'm trying to think if there was a player for North Carolina that had really, really dominated against us last year or early in the season, but I don't think it was her. But that was it. It just became, after the first goal from Trinity, that's when the game kind of came alive. So Trinity scores. Yes. Amber Brooks slide tackles. She's a little further up than she normally plays. Makes a tackle, turns the ball over to Ashley Sanchez. Ashley Sanchez does what she does, which is get assists to Trinity Rodman. Trinity Rodman puts it away with authority, far post. So the funny thing from the announcer's curse was saying, all right, the Spirit have had a problem this year of just scoring and putting it away. So right now they've got to really just take it easy, command that lead, and go into the second half. And then unfortunately, 3 minutes later, Brittany Ratcliffe lays waste to that, equalizes. Again, all sort of commentator stuff. They're like, "Oh, there it goes again. That's really unfortunate for the Spirit. I don't know how they're going to manage that gut punch." And then less than 1 minute later, before halftime, Kelly O'Hara crosses to Tara McKeown. Kelly O'Hara is pretty far outside the box. Tara McKeown makes a flick-on header. Casey Murphy was out at sea. I don't know. I don't think she'll want to have that one back. She was probably 10 yards from her goal and did not make a real play for the ball, just sort of in no man's land. And scores, puts the team up 2-1 at halftime. Feeling pretty good. Feeling pretty confident about the way things are going at that point. It did not last long. Go ahead.
No. I was going to say, you mentioned Murphy maybe wanting one back. I think you could say the same thing for Bledsoe.
Yep.
She's not going to feel good watching that replay of
that was the second goal, right?
So
the first goal was the one when she passed the ball out with her feet to basically to the other team.
I think so, but you may got me wrong. But either way, that was one that she'll want back. So you'll have to correct me if that is the second one. I may have got them mixed up.
Aubrey Bledsoe last year had a game. She's had like one mistake a year where she threw the ball directly to an opposing player and who just like scored uncontested. But that was the only real mistake she had like that. So we'll call that 2022's version of that.
Gotcha.
Trinity Rodman's second goal though was just a I don't know. That was just like a fierce domination of a player.
Yes.
Trinity Rodman gets played in behind on the left side. She works herself to no angle, cuts back, and then blasts the ball near post right through Murphy to again take the lead for the second time. 3-2, 56th minute. We're thinking, all right, that's got to be it. Obviously, clearly, now at this point, there's nothing else to happen. 6 minutes later, a penalty of unknown origin occurs. Diana Ordonez scores from the spot. Bledsoe dives the right way that time, but does not make the stop. Just, you watched the replay of the penalty to try to figure out what the play was caused. Nobody knows. Andy Sullivan in the postgame says we shouldn't have made the cross to put the ball in that spot for that penalty to be called. I believe there was some talking in the locker room before they went into the press room like, I don't want to pay any more fines. Let's just leave it be. I still can't tell you what it was for. I was off the ball, clearly.
No.
I don't know.
I watched the replay in quarter speed. If out there in WSL Twitter land, and if anybody can find it, it is NWSL Twitter. If you can find the person with the cell phone video that proves it one way or the other, I don't know. We'll find something to get you. We'll get you a scarf. We'll get you a sticker.
Yeah.
You can have my spot on the show. If you can find definitive proof one way or the other of what exactly happened in the box for that third goal, you get a gold star.
We need the Zapruder film on the grassy knoll to tell us the angle that actually shows us, because I don't believe that the announcers even saw it. So their angle, same as everyone that was not there, were unsighted. I'm imagining that if you were there, maybe obviously you had a better view than the fans at home, but like maybe that was. I've not heard a lot of complaining from people close to the team, just the fans who were watching. Mm-hmm. So yeah, 3-3. There wasn't really after that a great deal of trouble on the goal. Not much else to say. Like the team was pretty wiped out after this. They know they need to get wins. They know they let this game slip through their hands multiple times, and they know that this is their lineup. This is their best choice lineup, and they weren't able to get the job done. Players I want to sort of call out for their performance. Obviously, Trinity Rodman with 2 goals.
Yes.
It's funny when you have a player that young who can so dominate games, who you're like, I just can't believe she's so young and she's doing this. And then you think, she is the highest paid player in NWSL. Clearly, she has the talent to take over games like that. So maybe it's going to get to the point very soon where you just expect it, and it's more trouble if you don't get it. And maybe we're getting closer to that. Ashley Sanchez is unplayable still, coming back from the national team, playing with extreme confidence. I I think she's trying to nutmeg players now, like on purpose to get on to just to get clips. But she is absolutely on fire. I think that's great to have her back. And then other than that, there wasn't really any players that stood out for me. Obviously, Tara McKeown scoring her first goal was good, but
yeah, and I think McKeown did a good job standing in for Ashley Hatch, who I think is still coming back from injury from duty with the national team.
Yes, I think I would hope by next game she is back in form. Julia Rotter, who is out with knee injury, is not going to be back super soon, so that's still some time off. But yeah, I mean, this was a game that they really would have liked to win, particularly with all those games in hand for the Courage. Sort of something that you really want to pick up points from the teams that you are above, but who have games on you.
Yes,
it's the season we're in, man. The next game is against Racing Louisville, who previously in the year I would have said was a guaranteed W that you've got to beat. They are above them in the table. They are on 13 points. I'm sorry, they're on 11. They're tied for 11 points, but I guess we're above on goal differential.
So yes, but they've got a game in hand. So
right, that game is away to Louisville. Louisville just lost to Portland Thorns 2-1, but they had come back at halftime. Alex Shidiak scores a ridiculous goal. I don't know if you happen to see that on the highlights. She basically talk about she dribbled the player on the end line with no angle and still manages to score from nothing. It was kind of really amazing. So that was a game that they were not expected to win, and they didn't. But it was certainly a good performance and something that the Spirit should be concerned about going forward. Defensively, I think they kept Portland to 2 goals. Was a bit of a good effort. So that's a game that is on the 5th. So they've got 5 days. They played on Friday, so that's a full week for them. So that's great. That should help them sort of be ready to go. Hopefully Ashley Hatch is ready for that. I've not heard anything. Maybe in the midweek press conference we'll hear. I mean, they've got to win all of their games. I'm not going to call this game a must-win. They have to win them all.
Yes.
I think that there's a point at which they get eliminated from the playoffs kind of early in the year if they don't. So they got to win this game. That's what I'll say. Just some little news and notes, some stats on this matchup. The Spirit are 10th in the league in goals per match, which is 1. You may not know how many teams there are in NWSL, but I believe the answer is 12. So not great there. They are. You know that they have not won in 14 attempts. That's a known fact. That's not news to many people that are listening to this show. Racing is 6th in goals, only 1.1 per match. It's funny that between 6 and 10, the difference is 0.1. Mm-hmm. And they haven't won a match in 8 attempts. So they've been draw city as well. So maybe this is your chance. They have the all-time head-to-head is 3 wins for the Spirit, a draw, and 1 win for Louisville. So a matchup that the Spirit have generally dominated, but this year is somewhat different, isn't it?
Yes, it is. The 2 least informed teams in the NWSL going head-to-head.
Must-see TV for me, right. for casuals for sure.
If I do think it's fair to say that Spirit have been hurt a little bit more than Louisville by international duty. Mm-hmm. So maybe if anything, that gives us an edge. So
fingers crossed. So that's that from the game. I think the only thing that I really want to talk about that's kind of notable and that people are talking about besides, by the way, very, very good week for NWSL games. I think I watched probably 3 this weekend, more than I usually get to. I think just because I stayed up late a lot. I want to spotlight the ones that were most interesting. The OL Reign Angel City FC game was fantastic. I encourage you to watch the highlights of that game. OL Reign pulled it out as I was struggling to keep my eyes open because I may have had a bet on a draw, and it was 2-2 in the 90th minute, and my eyes at 1 o'clock in the morning were just like, ee, and then they scored. Tobin Heath scores in the 92nd. This league is so wonderful when the players are back from international duty. The difference is dramatic, and I just wish we could convince NWSL to structure a season in which they can shut down for international duty or not release players for friendlies. whatever it takes, only tournament release, some sort of thing, because the difference in league play when they're there is it's just too dramatic. And for a league that's still trying to capture eyeballs, I think they should try to make sure that they have their best players in the field.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The story that was on Sportico this week, a story that touches me personally to the tune of $145. NWSL sponsor Voyager, a crypto platform / lender, and lender is why they're in trouble, went under. Is trying to attempt to file for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. You'll remember at the beginning of the season there was an agreement signed with the league between Voyager, where they gave some money to NWSL for being the official crypto sponsor back in the glory days of Bitcoin at 50K or whatever it was at the time. And the other thing about that is they were giving players money to invest in the platform, education, sort of just like opportunities to earn more money on the platform. Oopsie, Voyager went away and they lost all their money because they loaned money to people that didn't have money to pay them back to the tune of $2 billion, I believe, something sort of ridiculous. Three Arrows Capital. If you into this stuff, and I'm assured that our listenership is not, but I am, so I know that I have the little bit Voyager information. Anyway, so all their money's gone. If they had any money in the platform, it's gone. Any money that was paid to the players, unless they were extremely crypto adept, and all moved it all off their platform under their own cold wallet. In which case, please, NWSL players, any of you who actually did that, get back to me, DM me. I would like to have you on the show and give you a prize. Yeah, but their money's gone, and they're in the same line of creditors with me and everybody else that doesn't know if they're going to get their assets back. There is, what do you before I get sort of like what the what do you think about that? Obviously, it's unfortunate for the players, but.
It really is, one of the things, it seemed like from the reporting, one, that most of the funds to the league was cash, but that the payout to the players was as you said, almost seemed like a crypto gift. Hey, here's a wallet, here's some coins, but two, that it doesn't seem like they ever got to that point of paying the players, which, I think, if I had to guess, probably speaks to where they probably recognized that this was happening for a while before it happened. Because I think if you were to pay out, if you thought things would rebound and you'd be okay, you'd do it when coins are low at the bottom of the market. You and I are the most crypto-centric side of this podcast, and things are starting to rebound a little bit. But yeah, I think the biggest thing is it's a shame for the players, because they, at least all I can see is, one, this was going to be a big partnership, and two, it looks like they've gotten nothing.
All right, that's as much crypto as I'm allowed to talk about on this show, and I promise you I won't do it again. So for our listeners, I have a bit of a surprise for you. We have a Julia Rotter interview coming up this week. If you are a Patreon subscriber, it will be already out when you listen to this on Thursday, and it will be locked behind the gates for 5 days. We also have an interview with Bailey Feist that will be released sometime next week. So if you want to get those early and support the show and sort of make sure that these interview shows make sense to do, go to patreon.com/RFK Refugees and give us your support. On behalf of Brian and on behalf of Ted, who is not here today but will be back next week, this is John, and I will see you next week.